looked like the Clippers were sort of daring you to beat them with how much room they would give you on your outside shots, and you said, we'll talk about that after we get the job done and we win. So
they believed that that was their best bet of stopping me or taking me out of the series, but, you know, it didn't work out so well for them.
So, the Denver Nuggets just put on a masterclass versus the Los Angeles Clippers in Game 7, and after a back and forth series from both teams, Denver showcased why they are still a major threat in the Western Conference. This squad really played with the next man up mentality, and when you have Russ getting a steal to go slam it home to charge up the crowd, this is what we call playoff basketball.
Another jam!
Not only did he do this one time, as just a minute before this, Russ would quickly intercept his pass when Dunn tries to get it into Zoo, and now the runway, well, it's clear for takeoff. The Westbrook slander was extremely real, and you would see the Clippers neglect to get out to him in a quickness when he was on the perimeter, but here's the thing. Russ made it a focal point to focus on knocking down his shots from the outside, as he knocked these down at a 42% rate, so with confidence, he lets it fly for the butterball. Like, trust me, I'm being serious. The Clippers would totally disrespect Russ, as here when Gordon gets blocked down low, he has the decision to either hit MPJ or Russ on the outside. And I get it, MPJ is known to be the sniper on this team, so that's why you want to rush out to him. But when Gordon sends it out to Russ, it's like the Clippers don't care at all to contest the shot as they just watch him rise up, and this one right here is straight cash. The impact Russ had during this game and series was huge. If no one decided to box him out and lazily go up for a rebound, here's where he flies in to put back his own free throw. When the Clippers think they have a Hail Mary up the field available to get a bucket, here comes Russ playing free safety to pick this one off to then go set up Aaron Gordon for a nice two-hander. And with patience, when catching in transition, Russ can wait till Jokic is in perfect stride down the floor with no one stopping him, so he can now dump this off with ease for Jokic to go get the and one.
For his teammates, shovels, Jokic lays it in!
It's honestly great to have a player who can be an asset on the court in many different ways, but what's even better than that is the way this team would give up a good look to find a great one. You can see on this play that Brown could have jacked up one from deep, but with Bogdan playing the middle ground, he's gonna swing it over to Russ to make Bogdan make a choice, so now since Bogdanovich closes out hard on Russ, this opens up Christian Brown even more than he was before, and bada bing, it's money team. This unselfishness will be on display all game, as here when Murray comes off the screen, he could get into a mid-range jumper over the top of Zoo, or he could try and take him to the basket. But instead, he decides to hit Jokic in the middle of the floor, who can now also float it right over James Harden, who rotates to help. But who are we kidding? Why make it hard when you can make it easy? So that's why you see Jokic just lob it over the top to Brown, cutting on the backside. Things like this are majorly important when you're trying to compete for something special, as it's more about making the right play than trying to do it all yourself, because when Jokic catches in the middle of the floor on this pick and roll action, we all know he could get busy, as this is what I like to call his work desk. But if you pay attention to Nikola, his first instinct is to look over to the opposite side to see if one of his guys are open. Now one, he does this because he already knows the help is going to come over to double him most of the time, as we see that with Harden at this moment, but two, he just has a knack to always scan the floor before making his move. So with that said, Jokic sends it out to Brown, who is completely uncovered, and 3 more points are added to the score. If you ask me, it honestly looked like the Clippers were out of sync and were playing with no sense of urgency, because look, when coming up the floor, Harden is on Brown, so in theory, Kawhi should be in front of Jokic to stop the ball, and Derrick Jones Jr. should be matched up with Gordon. Well, as we roll the tape, you're going to see Jones commit to Jokic, which allows him to send a pass over to Gordon, and now since Gordon doesn't have anyone in front to stop him on the attack, this forces Norman Powell to come help over, leaving the shooter and MPJ wide open, and this one right here ends in LA calling a timeout. In a closeout game, things like that should never happen, but you would see breakdowns like this from the Clippers all game long, such as while everyone is focused on Gordon catching in the mid post on Kawhi. If you look more towards the middle of your screen, you're going to see Christian Brown setting a back screen on Harden, who doesn't communicate whatsoever. This lack of communication leaves Batum in confusion whether he needs to step over to cover Brown or if he needs to be ready to guard MPJ going to the corner. In this moment, this is probably the worst thing for the defense, and even more so, it's the worst position for Harden to be in, because Brown can easily just shoot down the middle of the lane while Harden has to trail him from behind, and with CB showing some patience, he gets Batum in the air with the up fake, and another 2 points inside goes down for the Nuggets. Brown himself has made a role on this team as someone who can operate off ball to put himself in the best position to score, so instead of screening for Jokic like most defenders would assume is about to happen, Brown instead uses Zoo as a screener on his own teammate to get the step on Batum, and this here is where your defense gets broken. With Brown curling around to the basket while receiving this pass, this makes Kawhi slide over to stop any further advancement to the basket, but that doesn't even matter because Watson is now open in the corner, and yet again, the Nuggets make it rain from deep. I truly don't get how the Clippers would have such terrible defensive awareness, leaving guys completely uncovered multiple times throughout the game for them to get a great look at the basket. And trust me, when you're down big, I understand that you want to pressure ball handlers to speed them up and make them uncomfortable. So that's why you see Harden picking up Brown early, but one thing you can't do is get into your defensive stance and get blown by with such ease, as now you've put your defense at a major disadvantage, causing them all to focus on the guy pushing towards the paint. But ladies and gentlemen, if you look on the backside, you have Aaron Gordon charging up, and here comes the finisher.
Slam it down!
Plays like that right there can just demoralize your offense. And when Jokic stuffs this shot from Zoo down low and then turns into a fast break for Murray to go score, this is when you know you're in a world of trouble. This Nuggets team wasn't just scoring the ball at a high level, as they were locked in on defense, just doing all they could to stop shots from going in for the Clippers, and then when going back the other way, they made sure to make you pay. We would see Christian Brown just straight up hound James Harden as he tries the ISO for a jumper, which results in a miss. And when seeing this defensive intensity again, this time Brown forces James all the way to the sideline while Russ sneaks in from the backside, and this one ends in an air ball with the shot clock expiring. The Nuggets were just showing a different level of fight when it came to wanting to win this game 7, as Gordon on this play is surrounded by multiple Clipper defenders, which at this moment you would assume he would have to kick it out or end up missing, but nope, he stays patient to find that slight angle to get it off the glass to score. And on this play where you see 2 Clipper defenders near the basket to be able to fight for this rebound, Aaron Gordon is going to be the one to come out the mix to get the tip in to push Denver's lead further. It's truly ridiculous. You would assume that in a game 7 where it's win or go home, you would see more fight from a team that wants to advance to the next round, but that certainly wasn't the case. The Nuggets were practically doing whatever they wanted to the Clippers on any possession down the floor, and if we're being honest, they made it look quite easy. Such as when MPJ comes off this handoff and switches the shot into a pass back to Jokic. He starts to cut to the rim, which all of us can see, but it's like the Clippers don't care at all, as they sit there and watch with no rotation till the very last second, and with Porter maintaining his composure and staying patient, he gets an easy one at the front of the rim. This carelessness from the Clippers would be on display all game, as you can see Porter attack the paint once again with virtually no resistance. And if we're being real, it looks like the Clippers sold this game on purpose. Because when has it ever made sense to have 3 defenders near the paint on a fast break while a sniper is moving into position, as all this does is put you at even more of a disadvantage. It's games like this who truly shows you who wants it more and who doesn't, and in this game, the Nuggets showed everyone that there's levels to this thing we call basketball, and that showing up when the lights are bright is when things truly matter. If you want to see me break down the series of the Nuggets vs the Thunder, comment cash below. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you're first to know when I upload. And hey, if you made it this far, that means you're a true supporter. And if you want to see me just talk hoops to the camera and we can all connect, go ahead and subscribe to my second channel called Bandz Hoops, BANDZ Hoops. I'll link it in the description below. I thank you all for your support, and I'll see you in the next video.